Good morning. I'm so glad to be back with you here on our week 3 of our course. I hope you had the chance to really look through the materials of week 1 and week 2 and have evolved in the designing of your brand strategy plan. Okay? So today we start looking into all the information that you need for the part 2, which is to implement. Up to now, you defined the strategy of your brand. What is the positioning? Why you are different from the others? What is the message that you want to send to the external world? Now we are going to define how we are going to communicate that. Okay? So let's go. So our agenda. How and why you are doing all this? Because you want to build brand equity. How to build brand equity? We will start by looking into our brand elements and designing the marketing programs that will support the communication of your positioning. And for next class, you will look specifically into the marketing communications. Okay? So, defining the brand positioning, this is something we did last class. It's so important. I really would like, we won't be able to do this in the video, but I suggest that you go back to the first video and watch the part where we go through the positioning, okay? Because it's so important. Now, remember that we talked about what is your goal, what is your objective, is to make sure that your brand identity, everything that you are doing internally, yeah, to create brand equity, is closely aligned with what the image the customers have of your brand. And your goal is that this comes as close as possible to each other. So is what we are going to do now in these next two classes, is to identify what are the activities that will enable these things to come together. Okay? So I put together a little diagram here for you to see everything that is involved in create this equity. Yeah? So up to here, we define the strategy. Yeah? So you have your brand positioning, you understand why you are different, what is your unique proposition of value. We looked into that. Now let's take a lot, but it's not only the positioning. Now, what is the personality that you are going to use to form this brand identity? So remember the first ball, it's my identity. My identity is formed by the positioning and by my personality. So you get to this identity, and then the elements, the type of clothes that you wear, the color of your hair, the car that you use, all the brand elements around will support your communication of this identity. So how you are take this identity and communicate to external world through your brand elements and through the marketing programs that you design. All this will get to the consumers who will then create that brand image. Do you see? So the best you are to, when you look at your brand elements and your marketing materials, they have the function of translating your position, your personality, which becomes your identity, to the customers to form that image. So the better you are in doing that, the closer identity and image will be. So that is our goal, okay? So how do we develop a positive brand personality? It's like a person, yeah? You have to look at your brand from a personality point of view to describe it as if the brand were a person, okay? And why is so important? Why personality is so important? Because it's what gives the voice to your brand. Yeah. So in all your communications will have that same voice. Okay. So let's see an example. Let's assume a very interesting example I found in a book. Let's assume exclusive breastfeeding is a brand, okay? The positioning that the company chose to define what their unique proposition of value is exclusive breastfeeding, the brand. Her baby, Sarah, yeah, is the target group. For 6 months is the only free infant feed option, okay? Point of difference. Free infant feeding option, the only, that provides the best nutrition, another point of difference. So she gives two. And allows her baby every time she feeds him. Okay? So she creates, is very clear the positioning for exclusive breastfeeding is the only option that is free and it has the best nutrition. So, what is the personality? If I want to communicate and to incentivize, think about a non-profit, non-for-profit that wants their objective is to incentivize breastfeeding. What personality this not-for-profit brand would have? What type of person would they be? For example, conscientious, a nurturing person who is happy to help others. And these are the questions you have to ask for your brand. What would the persons do or say? So what kind of things the person do? She volunteers in the community and puts her baby needs first. And what would she say or do? With quiet determination and dedication. So you have to find those words, which I will give you many, to define the personality that is aligned with your positioning. Yeah? So the personality in 2 to 4 words for exclusive breastfeeding: nurturing, stable, natural, and wise. Okay? So, how do we develop that? Okay. So, if you have to ask yourself, if my brands were a person and suddenly came live and walked into the room, you will ask those questions. What type of person would she be? What did this person say and do? And how would she say or do? And here you have a number of adjectives that will help you to establish that personality. Please use them when you are looking for the personality of your brand. So, some examples. Sincerity. What aspects of sincerity that form a personality like that? Down to earth, honest, cheerful, wholesome. A personality that is excited, is passionate, excitement. It could be daring, someone that, like for example, virgin. Think about the personality of virgin. It's all that. Daring, spirited, imaginative, up to date. Okay? Competence, someone that is very competent. What are the words you can use for that? Reliable, intelligent, successful. Think about a brand that would have these aspects, yeah? Or sophisticated, upper class, charming. So usually luxury brands, you can have that personality. Ruggedness, outdoorsy, tough, some of the brands for Jeep. But you have to find a way, a combination of these qualities that will render you unique. The same way that each person is completely different than other, and some people are similar, but they are still unique. That's what you need to define for your brand. If you were a person, how you would qualify from a personality point of view. So, very important. To develop, how to help you, what are the criteria that you have in mind when you are thinking about developing the personality of your brand? It must be relevant to the consumer because it is based on consumer insight. So it must be, you know very well what your target group is. So the personality of your brand has to be someone that, if you think as a person, your target group would want to interact with, relevant to them. Honest does not represent something the brand could never be. So it's a good example. Blood testing services cannot be confident. It can be confident, but not exciting. Yeah. So it has to be believable. Yeah. So in alignment with the category. If you have blood testing services, there's nothing exciting about that. So, for example, I sell health insurance. My brand cannot be exciting. My brand has to be what? It's reliable, is caring. Those are attributes that are honest, are believable for my category. Unique, yeah, cannot be, we talked about. Always informed by the positioning. Again, you cannot create a position, a personality in the vacuum. It starts with the positioning. For this positioning, what is the personality that is most appropriate for that target? Okay? Note that the personality is describing the brand and not the audience. They are two different things. And here's an example for how Starbucks, on their brand strategy plan, define themselves. What is the personality of a Starbucks? They say modern lifestyle. They are concerned about social improvement. They are very trendy, fun, enjoy life. They affordable in the U.S., maybe not outside. Stylish, but also have some feeling of that, some level of sophistication by them. Okay, so this defines the personality. Okay, well, so make sure. So this is an important step on your brand strategy plan, part 2. Make sure you are very clear about your brand personality.